Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Bridgeside Sports Live. We're here from Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, in Bridgeside Production Studio, as always. I'm Philip Cagliostro. I'm going to be your host for the evening. Our little round ramen carousel continues. And to my left, I got the fantasy guru, Mike Bukowski. And if you notice, we got a collection of MLB memorabilia, none from our New York teams, though. So we got the Oakland Athletics jersey next to me on the left. What's going on, Mike?
Giambi.
What's going on? Thank you. Yeah, this is Giambi. You know, he was a Yankee. That counts.
That's
for
true.
something.
I guess it's close to getting there.
Throwback.
Yeah.
Then we got a Baltimore Orioles rival, big fan of the big Donnie Borst.
How you doing, Philip?
You've been here about 6 straight weeks as our contributor. There's this summer vacation schedule we got going on. And next we got on the last but not least, Christopher, the analyst, Ventra.
What's up, people?
It's your boy right over there.
It's your boy.
Well, coming off a fresh Roto Experts radio experience,
Yeah.
I was glad to hear that. Good, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, Friday, 9 a.m. You could catch it on the rotoexperts.com. FNTSY Radio is on there, and you can find it. It's called Roto Experts in the Morning. It was Friday. Was it July? I don't even know. July
21st?
I don't even know what day it is today.
Yeah, it was the 21st. It was the 21st. Okay. Yeah, it was a good time.
How did it feel sitting there with them? It was good.
It was good. Yeah, it's a little uncomfortable. You don't have the chemistry like we have on the show.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Great chemistry.
And Donnie, you just came back from a little bachelor party excursion, right? You went to a couple of baseball stadiums.
Absolutely.
You took Mike with you, I think.
We did. Yep.
Yep, I was there.
In my wedding party, sadly.
Sadly.
Yeah, we did Baltimore.
Well, I had nobody left to pick. I just picked Mike.
Baltimore.
Hey, I'll
for
take
the,
it was a fun time. I don't care why he brought me, as long as I was there.
Oh, it was phenomenal. Yeah, we went to Baltimore for the Saturday night game against the Astros, best team in the American League, and then the Orioles wound up getting smacked later in the game. So
I gotta say, I've been to and then we went to the Phillies the next day.
Citizens Bank for the 1:30 game.
Which
against
one was
the Brewers.
better?
I've been to. Just speaking first, I've been to Camden Yards a bunch of times, and Camden Yards is beautiful.
Yeah, I've been there
It's
too.
really nice, but I've never been to Citizens Bank. I thought it was awesome. I liked it. I actually preferred it to Camden Yards. But
Wow.
It's nice and open. There weren't a lot of fans in the crowd though. So
No, they're not.
It felt a little bit like
Rough team.
It felt like a Cyclones game a little bit, But it was like it wasn't as congested. It's a really really nice ballpark.
Oh, cool.
Right.
And that's close, but it's we went to Chicago earlier this year. We saw we went to Wrigley. That was awesome. Paul too.
Who's Win? He hasn't been here in
Yeah,
6
where's Win?
weeks.
We went with Paul too. That was awesome too. Wrigley Field was awesome. I want to make it down to Camden. Philly's close. I don't know why we don't.
I wanna
For
go
like an hour 20.
I heard Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I heard
that's where I want to go. I was going to say.
Pittsburgh's supposed to be a
That's
beautiful
an 8-hour
stadium.
drive. Yeah.
PNC, is it, right?
Yep.
PNC, yeah, I heard it's great with the bridge in the background.
Yeah,
Beautiful,
I heard. So one day we'll.
That looks like a great scene. Yeah.
We'll go.
There we go. But well, we're talking about baseball. That's where we're going to start today. We're going to start with baseball. We had a couple of moves this week since the last time we spoke to you, actually, and one of our local teams made one of those moves. The Yankees traded for homegrown talent Todd Frazier, David Robinson, and Tommy Caney. They gave up a prospect, so I wanted to see what everyone thought about it. They're trying to make a little splash. We can tell that they're actually going for it now. There was a lot of talk of were they going to be actual buyers or they're going to stay put. They're looking to buy a little bit. So I want to start with Mike. What do you think about the trade that they just made?
Well, I think it showed that I don't think it was. It showed that they think they can win. They can make the playoffs this year. They didn't make the real big move yet. They traded a really good prospect in Rutherford, but he's an outfielder, and if there's one thing they have, it's an abundance of outfielders. Going forward. Now Frazier looks like he's the real deal. I don't think they're going to put him in any trade. So it was like a spare outfielder, and they got back. And really, you thought like Frazier might be the third best guy in the deal. I think the guy Conley, right? Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Canley. Yeah.
Canley.
Yeah.
Conley.
That guy is a stud, and he now gives them 5 ridiculous relievers.
It's ridiculous. It's unbelievable. You said ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Between Canley, Green, Betances, Chapman, and who am I missing?
Robertson.
And Robertson, of course. Robertson, the other. Those are 5. I mean, that's what you're going to see a lot of
deep.
starters just trying to get through the 5th inning. But it showed that they think they can make the playoffs this year, and now it's interesting to see if they're going to make that big deal for a pitcher, one of these other guys. But I thought it was a good deal all in all.
I agree with you. The stars. You want them to get a starter. Will they get a starter? The starters just aren't out there, man. They're just not out there. I completely agree with you about Rutherford. It's at a logjam.
Well, there is a couple good starters.
There's a few, by the way, and moves were made, though. Like, you'd say that there's 2 or 3, but I mean, the Twins just settled on, they picked up Jaime Garcia. We just saw right now that Trevor Cahill went to the Royals. I mean, it's not, there's a couple of very good starters, but there were moves that could be made, Now it's starting to get thin, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, but
Quintana first to be dealt.
These guys that the Yankees have in their farm system are good prospects. Are any of them worth it to give up for these guys? I'm not saying these starters aren't, worth like Cahill and Garcia, but not for the guys that the Yankees have.
It sounds like front office is the first thing that's going to be mentioned is Frazier, and then that has to be top shelf talent to get him up. And no, those guys that were mentioned, most of the ones that I just mentioned, are not worth it.
But unlike Mike said, Frazier came up and he's hitting well. He's doing well.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy, Canley, he's under contract till 2020, so they have him for a while. That's why they traded him.
That's
Robertson's got one more year. And Frazier, like you said, I agree with you. Frazier's the third best talent. Biggest name, third best talent in the trade. He's just going to hit some homers.
Just power, yeah.
He's like
and which they already have, though, by the way.
That's
so.
like 2-1.
Yeah.
But finally you move. But Headley.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say already, and I'm already excited about it.
But they're not getting rid of him. They moved him for first base.
Well, it's
you got a problem there too.
You just
Headley's like that, that fungus that's stuck to your foot, and it's like you're trying to get rid of it. You think you got it, and then it's still there.
At the very least, he shouldn't be playing every single day anymore, which is a good thing. And it's just I look at the team, I'm just like the lineup would look so much better if Holiday could just play first base every day. If Holiday could play first base every day, then you could rotate outfielders for the DH.
One of the worst defensive plays of all year.
Oh, come on.
Of all time.
They played him in first base a few times. He looks, he looks competent.
The guy who's making errors in left field. How the hell does that
maybe
happen?
left field doesn't work out for him. It's first base. That is his natural
He's one of my favorite hitters ever.
You kind of look like him a little bit, actually. I would say.
More like Kurt Angle, though.
Yes.
It's true.
My girlfriend said. So, wait, still on that trade. Listen, I think that there's Sonny Gray and you got Garrett Cole out there. They're both getting moved.
Darvish.
Who would you give up for him, though?
Now, I don't know if they're going to get Cole, because Cole, you're going to have to give up too much. He's younger, more promising. But Gray
won't be too far behind that, though.
I know, but I think Gray's the more feasible option. We don't need an ace. We don't need a deuce. Gray could be a nice number 3, I guess, for us, right now? That'd be perfect.
But who do you give up for him, though? Who would you willing
don't we have young pitching prospects in the minors right now that we could give up? I know we might not want to,
but... You think the A's will just go for those guys, though?
I mean, maybe not just one of them. Maybe you have to package a I'm not sure, but I think that's a guy we could go after, is what I'm saying. I mean, I think that could be a good get for us, since we lost Pineda for at least the next year. Yeah. Well, he might not even be ready for next year.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah.
He won't be ready for the start.
He won't be ready. Exactly.
Got nice Tommy John surgery.
Oh, you think he's gone?
Yeah.
Okay.
You think he's gone, like, from the team?
Yeah.
Oh. This is a casual revelation from Donnie Boy.
Yeah, very casual.
Yeah,
he's gone.
Why do you think he's never pitching for the New York Yankees ever again?
I do.
So he makes an allegation, says the guy's gone, and doesn't have a thing to say about it.
Gut feeling?
Yeah, no. He's already been an injury risk. He had another large injury, and I just don't think he's going to be worth whatever it is that his team's going to be looking for. So.
All right.
I think the only guy out there, even Gray, is not anything special to me. And for what they're going to want, especially since there's so many other teams that are interested in the starter right now, so Yankees would have to give up a lot.
Probably.
I mean, to me, he's not as consistent. Like he's had some years that are just trash, and he's been hurt a bit. He's not the kind of guy that I'm going to give up anything big for. Now, I mean, the other guy that's talking about that might be out there, but it looks like with every day it kind of changes, is Darvish.
That's a big one, Darvish. I think
Darvish, we were looking up before. It's his last year, right? So
contract year.
It would be a rental,
right?
But especially, Yankees have Tanaka too.
What does that mean?
It means
what the hell does that mean?
Just because
he's Asian?
No, come on. Let's be serious. No, they like to, come on. He's going to want to pitch with his friend.
How do you know they're friends? Wait.
They're not even the same nationality.
How do you know they're friends?
By the way,
I'm going to look this
how do you know they're friends?
Wait, they both are Japanese.
By the way,
they were pitching each other. The first time they ever faced each other was this year, and they were like, there was like a big thing, and they were talking about how they were both excited about it. So even if they're not friends, they respect
They will become friends because they'll communicate very easily.
The two guys hate each other. But aside from that,
no, show me some stats.
No, but I did have to cut in with this though, because we mentioned how it's been going back and forth, and there's an article on the MLB .com that just came out said sources are saying that the Rangers are leaning towards keeping Darvish.
Really?
So it's just changing yet again.
Really? Well, I want to talk about Mike brought up Darvish and being traded, and I think that's a nice segue to the injuries that we were going to talk about. There's a couple of injuries. There were two big injuries that happened yesterday.
Right.
There were a couple of injuries that happened last week, and it kind of goes right into what Darvish being traded. So they did talk about Darvish as a possible, before Donnie had this article, a possible landing spot to the Dodgers.
Oh, yeah.
So we want to talk about Kershaw a little bit, and we want to talk about that trade. So I know Chris, he's been on your fantasy team. You guys have been investing in him for years.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Kershaw injury?
I mean, you know, it hurts. I mean, I'm 3-11, so it doesn't matter to me this year.
How about for the
So
Dodgers?
I think that's what he
Yeah, I
meant.
don't think Kershaw cares about.
Well, I've had him, you know, on my team, so you know that would hurt.
You guys grew
You brought
apart.
it up.
I'm sorry, Chris.
No,
It's true.
but yeah, I mean it's terrible for the Dodgers, but it's good for the Arizona Diamondbacks and my projection for them to win the World Series. No, but really, it stinks because I think that he was on his way to another spectacular year.
15-2.
Right. You know, his ERA was just slowly like decreasing as the year went on, and then we could throw away that Mark Scherzer garbage that he's better than Kershaw.
Sorry,
at this point.
Mark Scherzer or Max Scherzer?
Max Scherzer. I'm
Mark
sorry.
Scherzer.
No, I believe it's
Kershaw's
Mark
de-
Scherzer, actually. Yeah.
Kershaw's
Mark Scherzer.
I'm looking that up
Kershaw's
now.
definitely better than Mark Scherzer.
He's definitely
But
better than Mark
he might
Scherzer.
be, but Max Scherzer might have
No,
something
he-
to say about
No,
that.
Phil,
What
on
I'm
Baseball
saying
Reference,
is-
it's definitely Mark Scherzer.
No, but honestly, you know, I just think that's a bummer. What is it, 4 to 6 weeks he's out for?
They say 4 to 6 weeks, but he had the herniated disc last year, and he
Yeah.
missed 2 months. He had tightness in his back. You know, they're not saying exactly. It could have been a spasm. It could
Right.
have been an exacerbation of the herniated disc, which causing the tightness in the back.
Sports science
Yeah, I think we're going to have to give it a little time. I think 4 to 6 weeks is the minimum.
is
of
the
what he
minimum.
could be out. Yeah.
And that's why I think that maybe
if it's
the
just
Dodgers,
if it's purely muscular, then give it 4 to 6 weeks because they'll go slow just because of the history of his lower back. But if it does have any neurogenic or neurological symptoms, it's going to be a little bit longer.
Right.
I think.
And let me just say one thing before you guys talk. I think that because of this injury, though, maybe they go get Dodgers.
Timeout. That's for Wayne.
Wait,
Sorry.
the timeout. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
Darvish.
So,
I think
so you
Darvish.
think even though the article they're going to get Darvish. Well, I do agree. I was a little surprised. I'm surprised that the Rangers would want to keep Darvish on the contract here.
Right.
I mean, unless they're confident they're going to sign. Well, it doesn't matter if they're confident they're going to sign him. They should still just trade him.
Well, they've also been winning slightly lately, and
But-
the mark for the wild card in the American League is
I
not
guess we
that
just
high.
I guess we just got to
Yeah.
research how far the Rangers down the wild card.
I'll look that up right now for you.
And then
Wow.
that's what it comes down to. But I think Darvish would be. I mean, imagine the Dodgers get Darvish and they have Kershaw when he comes back. Too.
Yeah, that's in the
scary,
playoffs.
right?
That's
Two and a
scary.
half back.
Okay. The
That's
Rangers
not
are
bad
still
at all.
there.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's playing
okay.
good ball right
Okay,
now too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he probably doesn't end up going anywhere unless somebody wants to give up just a ton of prospects.
Somebody wows them.
The one thing that caught my eye with the Dodgers though before the Kershaw injury is that they were actually thinking about making a big play to go out and get Britton. And I mean,
Yeah, I
a
heard
Britton
that.
Jansen 8th, 9th is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, of course they'd have to give up, the house.
Well,
But they do have, but they also have a lot of
Jansen,
young, good
yeah.
talent. Yeah.
Well, it goes about what baseball's been doing. They're kind of reverse engineering. We're just talking about the Yankees, that they're going backwards. Their starters, okay,
Right.
they're having starters problems, so let's get the best collection of bullpen that we can have.
3 of the most solid one-inning
And
pitchers.
I hope Girardi, I know this goes back a little bit what we were saying, but I hope Girardi gets a little creative with these guys because he has so many. I hope it's just not a guy, well, Betances is my 8th inning guy, so that's it. And, Robertson is this guy. I hope he, and maybe he'll bring Betances like the 5th inning or something because they're in a big spot or Caney or whatever. it may
That sounds
be.
more like playoff baseball, though, which we won't be able to tell until they
It's true.
get to the playoffs.
But they have
so,
so many guys right now. It's not like they're in danger of burning a guy out.
Well, that's why
True.
I think it's a big mistake. And Girardi already was asked about it, and he said he's not going to do it. But I think the guy Green should become a starter. But they said it's going to take too long to stretch him out. But he's thrown 2+ innings in games recently. Why? How long would it take him to stretch it? You telling me that by
Yeah.
September he can't be starting and throwing 5 innings in a game, which is all you need from him? Because that's all. First of all, in the playoffs, that's as long as Girardi will let anybody go.
Oh,
So
my God,
I
yeah.
don't really understand why they can't try to stretch him out. I think that would definitely solve the major need now on the team, which is starting pitching. But he
Right.
already said he's not going to do it.
I don't mean to cut you off. I apologize. I wanted to bring up the question of the night that we're going to talk about. I did a mistake to bring that up. Big news in the NBA offseason that Kyrie Irving has demanded a trade from the Cavaliers, and there's been a lot of just a lot of reactions to it, so we have our own reactions to it, and we kind of just really want to think, why does he want to be traded? We'll get into that later. We really want to hear from you guys about it. I know, it seems that the NBA has really found a way to dominate even after their season ends, but these are big news that's happening in the NBA, so I want to hear what you guys think. Kyrie Irving wants to get a trade. Where's he going to go? Why is he getting traded? So, didn't mean to interject with that. I do want to get back to baseball with the injury updates because there was another big injury yesterday with Strasburg.
Right.
Strasburg left the game early. I know, Donnie, you were reading a little about what Dusty Baker said.
We were discussing it before the show that it was purely a precautionary measure.
Which is BS. This is complete BS.
Yeah, especially with his past.
Exactly.
But I'd rather think that it would be that because there's too many sources that could get out too quickly that you would think that something like a DL stint would be brought up immediately after the game, like whenever they assess it later that night.
If I was the Nationals, I would say the same exact thing. Oh yeah, it was just precaution. Who takes out their star pitcher in the second inning? Precaution. This guy missed last season with arm injury. Had Tommy John.
But who does that help at that point, though?
Because you don't want to start a panic. Strasburg out. You want to give Strasburg some time to. You don't want to start and just say, "Oh yeah, we don't know what's going on with him." His arm. Oof.
I hear you, but I don't think the panic does anything to
they don't have
health either way.
They don't have a specific diagnosis yet. So instead of getting people speculating, oh yeah, it's just precautionary. Just precautionary.
This guy has to be one of the most frustrating pitchers that I could ever remember. Strasburg,
I know.
The guy, even when he's pitching and he's healthy, he is a very good pitcher, and he's shown that he's a very good pitcher. But he's the kind of guy that once in a while gets rocked, and you have no idea how or why. But it's just kind of like a frustrating career, and it's just another story in that frustrating career. And I don't know. They say it's arm stiffness.
Arm stiffness, a very general arm stiffness. And you know what? They did talk about forearm, so that's always dangerous. The forearm injury could be, hopefully it's not his elbow again.
Well, I was going to say, what has he done in the playoffs to this point? How many appearances does he really have?
Well, Nationals have been in there a few times.
Right.
Well, you remember one year they didn't pitch him. Do you remember he came back from Tommy John? They had the innings
that
count,
was the debate of
and that
year.
was insane. I'm sorry. That was insane. They didn't pitch him in the playoffs. Hadn't made the playoffs.
And they lost the first round,
well,
and
of
that
course
became the biggest
they
debate.
Took their number one pitch and they sat him down.
Here you go. I just found it. He has one postseason start.
Exactly. There you go. That's what I was going to say.
He pitched good.
He pitched fine.
He had a 180 ERA.
He only won 5 innings.
We got the loss, though.
He went 5 innings. That's not that
It
good.
was one game. So
well, that's the thing about Strasburg. I feel like he doesn't go as deep as he really should.
Well,
as
because
a
they're
pitcher
so
that he is.
strikeouts.
They're so scared about him.
Right.
No, he's also a strikeout pitcher, and it's you mix in the balls, and
Yeah,
it
but
adds up very quickly.
But there's strikeout pitchers like Scherzer
Mark
and
Scherzer.
Clayton
The great.
Kershaw, and there's others that go deep into games and get a lot of innings.
There's your answer. You just mentioned the best 2 pitchers in baseball, and they're more consistent than he
Chris
is.
Sale.
Chris Sale.
Chris Hill, a lot more strikes than balls. Yeah.
well, you know what it was.
No, I mean it's low, they're low walk
We just
guys.
broke down. We just broke down Chris Sale's success.
Already has 200
Guys,
strikeouts, by the way, too.
He throws more strikes than balls. That's,
I know, low walk guy. Sorry,
no, I'm
I
kidding.
dumbed down myself.
No, but it's just the fact that, Strasburg, you have one career start in the playoffs. He's been around for a while now, I remember when he was coming up, I was like, oh, this is him and Harper. Oh, these are the 2 biggest prospects ever coming up, blah, blah, blah. Harper, obviously, he's living up to expectations and everything.
Sure.
But Strasburg really hasn't lived up to the expectations. I'm sorry. He hasn't.
agree.
He hasn't because he had so much hype coming in.
And the injuries.
And the injuries.
But, yeah, remember, 215 innings pitched is his most innings pitched. He only did it once. The next best is 183. He has not shown that he's really capable of putting back a bunch of years where he throws a lot of innings.
You're looking at stats right now. What's his career high for wins?
Oh, who cares about wins, though,
I
man?
can look at that.
Come on,
it's
man.
15.
That's not a lot. That's nothing.
15
Okay, what's his
wins
ERA?
is- bro,
What's his
15
ERA
wins
then?
is fine.
What's his ERA? For the guy that all the hype and he's not
No,
your number
but-
one anymore. But
by the way, the
for
hype-
how good he's supposed to be, 15 wins. What about his ERA?
All right, but I can give you a bunch of people that were drafted number 1, had all this hype, and had horrible careers. He's putting together a very good career.
By the way, the hype is that he was a strikeout machine first and foremost, and he still is. The hype was never a 215 inning
don't-
guy that was a
No,
Don't
but
tell me that the
but
number
wait
one
a
pick,
minute.
you just wanted the number one pick
Yeah.
to just strike out a lot
That's
of guys.
not what it's
all
all
right, don't
about.
worry about your ERA. As long as you get 10
No, but
strikeouts
the
a game.
factors
That's
are always there, though.
Yeah, but you got to be a better pitcher. What's his
Right.
ERA? So you're looking at the stats. What's his best ERA? What's his career ERA?
His career ERA, he's actually
3
very,
ERA is the lowest he's had in a full
No, but what's the
season.
career
Three
ERA?
is his
What's the
lowest?
career ERA?
3.18.
Phil. Phil, his career ERA is 3.18.
Yeah.
But that's very, very
phenomenal.
Yeah,
good.
but here's the problem. I'll bring up the problem. Ready?
Please.
This is since he's actually started like a real full season. He's pitched 159 innings, 183, 215, and this is when you thought, oh, here he comes.
Right.
And then
And then the
127,
injuries.
then 147, now 121. Now he's hurt. So it's like he pitched 200 innings only once in his career. He's already 29 years old. He just turned 29.
Below where you want him to be. I don't
Exactly,
think there's getting around
exactly.
that. I know that 318 is a good number. He's below where you want him to be.
He's
As an
become
MLB pitcher, yeah.
Yes, thank
he's
you.
become an injury risk player. We all know what that means. There are guys that should be better than they are, but they're not. You
have a high
can't consider
standard
them
for him.
consistent. Yeah.
Just you see,
No consistency.
does he throw more strikes than balls?
I believe he does. Who doesn't do that, though? I
You're
mean, you
getting
look at
clowned, right?
Yeah, you have to be. You're not in the majors. if you-
Daniel Cabrera.
I remember.
All right,
him.
all
Did he
right,
almost
all right.
throw a no-hitter against the Yankees? Or did he
He
throw
did,
a no-hitter?
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. Anyway, but I
No, I want to talk more about that no-hitter. Let's keep talking about it.
7 walks, I think.
But I still feel that way. Oh, he's a bum. See, Paul Liatzis, he's a bum.
Liatzis, he's a
Thank
bum.
you. He's
You're
a
a
bum. We
bum.
agree
You're
with
in
Paul.
Greece.
We
You're a
agree with
bum.
Paul. He's a bum. Chris Venture, myself, he's a bum. Win and Donnie.
I don't think he's a
I
bon.
mean, now Mike and Donnie said you're
I don't
on
know.
outside.
How
He's a
could
bum.
a guy with a 3.18 ERA be a
Yeah, I don't
bum?
think
He's not
he's
a
a
bum.
bum.
Obviously not a bum.
Stop.
He's
But I
just,
think
he's a disappointment.
Thank you.
In terms of
Okay.
his expectations.
Okay, I think we could leave it at that.
Yeah.
He's not a bum, but he's a disappointment. So let's. We wanted to move on to our weekly segment, the "Are You Kidding Me?" So Chris Venture's going to take the stage for the "Are You Kidding Me?" this week, and he's really got to have a good performance here because his Arizona Diamondback has been ripped for weeks.
Well, forget about the Arizona Diamondback, but we haven't had a really good.
There
Are you
hasn't been
kidding
one.
me?
There hasn't one. My Phil Jackson was just too horrible to
Dude,
be one.
you got.
What was
It was
Mike's last
strange,
week?
though.
The
What was
Tebow
Mike's
one
last week? The
was-
Tebow. No, we all agreed with you, so that's not
No,
good.
but yeah, that's not.
And he hit
nobody
another
thought it was
homer.
outlandish.
He hit another homer, so that's not good.
You guys.
All right. The Odell was all right, kicked off.
Yours was the best one
I know, and he got fired. Thank you. I appreciate
because
that.
he got fired the next day. But that's,
It made me look like a moron, but it was a
worked
good
out,
one.
yeah.
so
Here
this
we
is
go,
mine.
Chris. Here we go.
Here we go. You ready? It better be shocking.
Oh,
a lot
it
of
better
pressure.
be. It better be.
Okay, so I'm gonna project Evan Ingram of the New York Giants ends up as a top 5 fantasy tight end. By the end of the year, he will be a top 5 fantasy tight end.
First, you know what I love about
go.
the
Who's
Are You
first,
Kidding
Kurt?
Me?
Thank
No,
you.
I just want to say what I love about the. It's one of my favorite moments of each week. It's just like the few seconds that everybody's processing whatever somebody says. On
Because I
want to
want everyone out there to know we don't know what he's going to say. You know, we're in the
Yeah.
dark about
No.
this. Chris had
have no
our
clue.
attention. We were waiting on the edge of our seats, and he's a showman. He knows. He pulled it out a little bit, and so we're processing it now. So
Process it.
who wants to be first to crack in on this?
I'm just looking on ESPN projections for tight ends.
What's his ADP?
I'm not even looking at ADP. You can look at that. Yeah. Good luck with that.
I can find that right
And I mean, he's way down the list. You got I'll just give you the top 10 so I don't read them all off. Just for projected points in our ESPN Fantasy League, you have Olsen, Gronkowski, Jordan Reed, Kelsey, Rudolph, Delaney Walker, Jimmy Graham, Ertz, Martellus Bennett, Jack Doyle. All right, and I will say,
Jack
when
Doyle.
you start
Jack Doyle. Okay, what's Jack Doyle?
Jack Doyle.
right,
Jack Doyle.
once I get to Jack Doyle, I understand, and yes, I would absolutely take Ingram just on hopes that he could really have a great year
Right.
above a guy like that.
Wait. Jack Doyle had some pretty good games when he was the only tight end there. I'm
Right.
just throwing that out.
And now
there.
Dwayne
Don't tell me about
Allen's
no.
gone.
I don't want to hear about no
I
damn.
don't want to hear about no damn Jack Doyle.
Yeah.
All right.
He actually liked that.
So basically, what you're saying here is,
Yeah.
all right, I got to ask you, Chris.
So
that-
you have top 5. I'm sorry.
So who are
Evan
the-
Ingram top 5?
So who are the 4 that you say will have like better years, or you would draft before him?
well,
Not that you would
where I
draft
draft
in
him is a
five. Not
different
that you would
story.
draft in
Yeah,
5.
exactly. I think that when you look at tight ends, okay, there's the big 4, right? You got Gronk,
The Holy Trinity.
The Mount Rushmore. The Mount Rushmore. Mount
the
Rushmore.
Mount
tight end.
Rushmore tight ends.
There you go.
You
Tell-
got Gronk,
Well, I like that.
you got Kelsey, you got Reed, and you got Olsen.
Holy-
Any order you want to put
holy
him in, you
quadrant.
can put him in. I think obviously Gronk's number 1, right? But
Even after the injuries?
Yeah.
Well,
I
you know,
would agree.
he's going in,
I know, I'm
in
just saying.
ADPs and everything like that. He's going like in the
Do you
second
think
or
he
third
finishes
round of
number
drafts.
1 tight end?
Uh,
year?
no.
Okay, so
If he plays a
he's
whole
not number
season.
1. No,
if he
but
plays the whole season, it's
No,
a different
no, no.
story.
would you think Gronkowski finishes number 1?
No.
Okay.
I
I
don't.
might agree with you now. Jimmy Graham's not even in there anymore. So you're saying Ingram ahead of Jimmy Graham?
Yeah, so basically I think that out of Gronkowski, Jordan Reed, and Jimmy Graham. Out of those three, two of them will miss at least 3 games each.
Okay.
2 of them are going to miss time, and that's going to kill their value and their overall ranking and projections or whatever, their points. Olsen's stable, but he's old now. He's 33 or 34 almost, I think. And, how much longer is he going to be as consistent as he is? Then you got Kelsey. Kelsey's probably going to be my number 1 tight end. He's the only one that's I think can be consistently solid. He doesn't get hurt. But besides that, there's a big drop-off after those guys. I mean, Delaney Walker, you could say, but now there's a whole slew of weapons on that team. They run the ball heavily. We don't know. Delaney Walker's older, too. And then you got guys like Rudolph. Then people love Rudolph because last year he had 8 touchdowns.
Well, he consistently has good years.
What about
he gets hurt all the time. There's another one gets hurt every year.
What about Martellus Bennett?
And then you got Bennett. People love Bennett because he's on Green Bay now.
Yeah.
Another team with a ton of weapons.
Is it a ton of weapons?
Yeah, you got Devontae Adams, you got Jordy Nelson, you got who knows about Randall Cobb if he's going to be good or not.
So where would you put Bennett on those weapons? So this is why. Now this is why. Well, I think you're wrong about Ingram. But this is why I'm
it's
going to get
outlandish, though.
But this is why I'm going to get to you why you're wrong.
It's not that crazy.
I don't think it's over the top crazy.
On
it's not over the top.
Pro,
Hold on.
I do have a question.
Hold on. I'm going to ask you with Bennett. Where did you put option number Bennett on that team throwing?
Oh, where is he ranked? Do I have him?
No. On the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, what option is he?
Yeah.
I'd go Jordy, Devontae Adams, and I think he'd be tied with like Ty Montgomery and him.
Okay, so he's tied for 3rd.
Yeah.
Ingram on the Giants. What option is he?
He's, I'd say number 3.
So he's number 3.
I'd say
over Beckham, Marshall, and Shepard.
He doesn't start.
No,
as
I
number
think it's
3,
Beckham, Marshall, and then Ingram.
Over Shepard.
Well,
that's actually that's way more outlandish than what you just said about
good.
Ingram.
So let's do that.
Okay, so you're saying that you'd rather
He
have...
has to be better than Shepard if he's going to be a top 5 tight end.
That's what I'm saying.
Sorry.
Okay,
he has to.
You're right if you think that. So you're saying that you think the number 3 option on the Giants is going to be better than the number 3 option on the Packers.
Yes, but that's a borderline number 3 option because you also got Ty Montgomery and you got Randall Cobb.
Okay, but you understand
Which
that's,
I think
that's
Cobb,
what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
that's what I'm getting. That's why I think you're wrong. There's just a lot of guys there that have. I think he's still the number 4. I think Ingram's going to slide into 4. He's going to be good. I think Shepard's going to catch a lot of passes too. I don't know if there's enough passes out there.
You think Shepard gets more targets than Evan Ingram?
Yes.
Well, that's what's important to me, though. What numbers do you think he's going to come up with this year?
Evan Ingram? I think he's going to have, probably around 55 to 65 catches, maybe, around there. I think he's going to have close to 800 plus yards, 800 to 900 yards, and I think he'll have 7-8 touchdowns.
I think he's going to hurt the touchdowns by Marshall.
I think
Marshall's going to be more of a red zone target than Ingram. Usually tight ends, can make their money with touchdowns in the red zone, correct?
Yeah.
I think Marshall's going to take some of those from him.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Well, if I want him to be a top 5 tight end, listen,
understand.
tight ends, the difference between them is very little. That's why I think
touchdowns,
Ingram could do that. And Ingram on FantasyPros.com, which takes a whole consensus ADP of like Yahoo, ESPN, everybody, right now he's getting drafted Ingram 17th overall tight end. 17th. So it is outlandish to say he's top 5. I don't know how.
Well, we're saying it's outlandish.
Yeah,
right, we gotta pump it up. This, are you kidding me?
I mean,
but I understand.
Mike, I mean, it is ridiculous.
I could see
what?
I could see a world in which that happened because, like you said, after the top 4, it really is kind of like a crapshoot,
right?
And tight end is so dependent on touchdowns, so
incredibly.
Yeah. So
unless you're Gronk,
right? Well, yeah,
that's it, right. No, it has to be a phenomenal
or
like
Jordan,
a wide receiver,
Jordan Reed, like Jordan Reed.
But those two guys can't stay healthy.
But just one thing to kind of that sprung out of this conversation too is one guy I'm not touching in fantasy is Shepard this year.
Me neither.
I think his numbers are going to go way
Absolutely.
down. He's a nice player, and I think that he's
good NFL player.
I think he's a good pro, but I think his numbers are going to go down. I don't think he's going to have as many targets. There's just between Marshall and if Ingram, they're going to put him in as much. They're going to use him as much. Then his numbers have to go down.
So you think Ingram's going to be over Shepard as well?
Yeah, I think they'll probably. I know he'll catch more touchdowns. I think he'll catch more touchdowns.
Think about Eli with these past 2 or 3 years. He loves to throw to the tight ends, even when they're garbage, like Larry Donnell and the guy from Stony Brook, Will Tye. I mean,
pride of Stony Brook.
The pride of Stony Brook.
Joe Nathan's the pride of Stony Brook.
No, but those two guys, he hit them up as much as he can, even when these guys are the worst tight ends.
But he loves his slot receiver as well.
Oh, well, I mean,
of course.
Yeah, but aren't they going to use Ingram
in
the slot?
I know they are too, but Shepard's they're going to use Shepard in the slot too.
He also had really good slot wide receivers. Better than most teams.
Who? Oh,
Eli.
he's had. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He's had. I also think he's made them better.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, Shepard is. If you look at Shepard and you watch him last year, I thought he was going to be good last year because honestly, he was the number 2 guy on the Giants' offense last year.
Yeah.
But now with all these weapons, Shepard's a guy like Reuben Randall, when we have, like a possession guy that's going to catch the ball for
More
you.
like
He's very
Steve
reliable.
Smith, that's exactly what I was going to say. Steve Smith.
remember?
Steve Smith.
Yeah,
oh, right,
made
right,
a
right.
big catch in the
That's
Super
what I
Bowl.
mean. He's small. You know, he's a possession guy. He's
Steve
reliable, but he's not going to make you a huge play and
I
break
agree.
one for 100 yards. It's
I
not going to
agree.
happen. You know what I mean?
He caught like
that's not that
89
guy.
passes one year, Steve Smith, for us.
Yeah, but then that was
it's not
it.
going to happen again. I agree with you. Shepard's going to take a step back. I
Right.
agree with you, but I think Ingram's going to get muddled around with Shepard. I don't think Ingram's going to. I don't think Ingram's going to take this step over Shepard, where it's clear that Ingram is that much better.
Well,
than
I
Shepard
actually-
for the numbers.
yeah.
and it could be down the road. I just
think
for
their
his first year.
targets might be similar. I just think that Shepard's going to probably consistently catch more passes per game, but Ingram's going to have games where once in a while he's just going to have like 5 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. You know what I mean? Like he's going to have big games. And Eli, he loves to target the tight ends in the red zone too.
I know he does.
He hits them up in the
does.
red zone. So Ingram's going to have a chance for touchdowns. They have no other competition for tight end pass catching wise
He
on the
always
team.
ran that post to Donnell, where Donnell tried to
Right.
jump, catch it over a guy,
And
and
now
then he
you got
never
a
held
real
on.
athlete.
Now we have a
there.
guy that
Just
can
like-
actually.
I
Right.
feel like he might do that with Marshall.
But just for comparison purposes, though, you run in a lot of fantasy circles. Is there a consensus of what he should be at the end of the year as far as tight ends go?
Well,
Is
yeah.
there any consensus at all?
Yeah, I mean, a lot
I'll need a comparison.
of people aren't as low as this ADP 17 for tight ends, but he's getting drafted, first of all. A 17 tight end doesn't get drafted. So he's
Potential's
going,
there.
He's going in drafts, yeah. And he's going real late, as a late round flyer, which is great value for such minimal risk. But people like O.J. Howard better, the rookie on Tampa Bay, even though Brate's still there, so he has competition. And people even like David Njoku on Cleveland better, that rookie tight end, who he should have got. Anyway, but I'm saying, there's guys that...
But he's going to be 5th overall with tight end.
Wait, because the guy we should have got went to Cleveland. You might as well just
Yeah,
get
like I don't
buried.
think...
What is he going to be, number 3?
No, I mean, it's hard to speculate rookie tight
competition.
ends.
I think there's competition for him to be consistently better, to be a top 5 with Jimmy Graham, Kelsey, Gronkowski, Reed. I think Bennett's going to have a good year.
Right.
I know Walker. I know Walker's got a lot of weapons, but Walker's still a steady as they go kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
I just think there's competition for him to jump into top 5. He has to have a lot of consistency. And his first
it's
year,
ridiculous
tough.
that I'm saying he's going to go to the top 5, and that's why I
You're
said it.
you're trying to
it
really
should be ridiculous. It's
know.
absolutely.
You sound like me last week now when I was trying to convince you.
But
guys
no,
that-
but-
that, yeah,
But if I
miserable.
said this to like people, I know not everybody's really looking into football yet, like I am, and like a lot of if I said this on the fantasy show at 9 a.m., they'd all say, "Get off the show." They tell me to walk off and get the hell out of here.
Well, no,
That's
you're not.
'cause two of
Well,
them
you
don't
should be
like you
strong with your
already.
convictions.
Well, no, I mean they're doing millions of mock drafts already, and they'll probably be like, "This is ridiculous."
So it's ridiculous, Chris. It's ridiculous. We'll revisit back
We'll
at the
revisit
end of
it.
the year, see if he became a top 5. I think he'll have a better year than expected, but
We'll
it's
see.
gonna be tough. Mike says he could see a world.
I
in
think
which
I
Evan
think he'll be
Ingram-
starting on fantasy teams towards the end of the year.
So do I,
will
yeah,
say that.
absolutely.
So
So
that
he's top 12.
So then
right?
I
That's
guess
at least top
I
12.
guess I'm saying he's top 12. I just
Well,
I just
actually, you could
wouldn't
have a
say top
backup
5.
tight end. Oh, you think he's starting?
That's
Okay,
right.
so-
Yeah, I do.
top 5. That top 12 to top 12 is a big thing. So maybe it is ridiculous, Mike. Why don't you give him a little credit for
maybe
being?
it is.
Are you kidding me?
And who has
Maybe it is.
2 starting
think
tight
Mike's
ends on the same
still-
team outside of like Bennett and Gronk?
Well,
so
Ben and Gronk did.
You'd be top 13, top 14. I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh.
Even if you're not top
I
12,
think,
'cause
Mike,
you start
I
2
think
tight
Mike's
ends,
just a little
you'd be
spurned
in
from
the
how
top
we didn't
13
think
or
his
14
Are You.
now.
Yeah. Wait, what? I'm talking about having 2 tight ends on your team
yeah.
on a fantasy roster.
So am I.
Yeah.
Now he's talking about
in real life.
You're talking about real
Talking
life.
about on real
This is real
rosters,
life,
yeah.
son. All right.
Well,
Well, that was a good
segue.
That was a good segue for Are You Kidding Me? We're going to go. So, if you're in fantasy football, you probably have read about mock drafts, complete mock drafts. So, what we're going to try to do here is we're going to give you a round a week. We're going to work all the way till the beginning of the season when the actual drafts really start to kick in.
Mm-hmm.
So, today we're going to do the first round. Fantasy football, first round, Bridgeside,
PPR.
mock draft. Bam, 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 bam. We get like a graphic, some music going on.
we got to get that
we don't
going.
have
Maybe
that
we'll
yet,
get
yeah.
Chris Berman here to announce
Paul's
it.
not here today, so,
That's Paul. I hope he's having a great time.
Maybe
Yeah.
if our producer didn't go on lavish trips
Yeah,
Well,
all
he
the time.
deserves
to
it.
Europe
He
all the
deserves
time.
it.
no, he does
Have a
deserve
good
it.
time out there, Paul. Anyway, here we go. Here we go.
Debatable.
Here we go.
This is PPR because most people play
It's
PPR.
PPR.
Yeah.
Hopefully down the road, maybe get like a big 12-team Bridgeside
Standard
mock draft. Maybe PPR too. I love PPR.
I love PPR.
I don't know why people do standard anymore. 6-point
people do.
touchdowns or 4-point touchdowns for QB in our mock draft. What are we doing?
4-point.
4-point. Chris Venture just made the decision. That's it. It's final. I mean, it's not even our fantasy league. But anyway, okay. So I'm kicking to Chris. He's going to be the number one. Oh, Katie said she detailed notes for her fantasy draft. She wants to be in the 12-team mock Bridgeside. All right, Katie.
Okay, Katie.
There we go.
We'll
Katie.
get you in there.
I like it. I like the enthusiasm.
We got to check if there's room.
Enthusiasm. Oh.
Just kidding.
All right. So, Chris, I'm going to give you. Chris, first pick, Bridgeside Sports mock draft, round 1. Let's go. Who are you taking?
David Johnson.
David Johnson.
David Johnson.
What do we think?
Yeah,
Obviously, it's a good pick.
It's the consensus pick. Yeah.
No, I would take Bell.
Oh, would you? Okay,
I'll
let's
take
talk
Bell.
about that.
This is the part of the show where they show all the highlights of David Johnson last
Going
year.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we don't have
That was a good cut.
I take Bell. I think Bell's the best running back in the league.
I think he's the
That's
best
all.
player in the NFL.
So do I.
mean,
So why is Johnson the consensus?
No, I'm
Yeah.
saying he's the
Oh.
consensus fantasy first
I
pick.
think Bell's
Yeah.
the best player in the league.
Right.
Oh,
So do I.
I do agree with you, but yeah.
The only
I'm
thing you
saying
say is that Bell
With
usually
the
misses
injuries.
games and suspensions.
And that's the only reason why I would take David Johnson over Bell is because of the injuries. Because otherwise, if you said to me right now that both of them are going to play 16 games, I would take Bell over Johnson.
Okay. I can't argue with the pick. I would take Bell, though.
No, I would absolutely take Bell.
So
That's
you're
the number
taking
2
Bill
pick.
number.
Yeah.
No, all right. So
The only thing that would worry me outside of the injuries and his outside activities would be the his contract situation right now, which he's not happy with. Is he the type of guy that will
he
actually?
said he will not hold out for the regular season.
No, I understand
sorry.
that, but is he the type of guy that would still carry on, so to speak, or not give it his all because they're stringing him along? He's sort of a mental midget. But he's, again, a phenomenal talent, but a mental midget.
A mental midget.
That's,
I've never heard
that's
that.
rough.
That's rough.
I've heard that. But
You've heard that? That's
rough.
harsh. All right. He's a mental midget.
No, but I understand
Steelers
what you're
usually
saying.
squash that pretty good, but I agree. I do understand what you're saying. So we're going to go.
And he'll get his money, too, also, I think,
He should.
eventually. Yeah.
Honestly, that's a different discussion. He should definitely get his money. I think he's.
Fair enough,
I think they're very underpaid. But well, actually, comparatively speaking, underpaid. To other sports. Sorry, Mike, number 3.
All right, so number 3 after the first.
It's a tough one here.
The 2 big running backs go.
Holy Trinity.
The Holy Trinity.
I'm not going to touch Zeke. I like to take a running back early, but I'm not going to touch Zeke.
Suspension.
Just because, I don't know, it looks like there's some character issues, but also, it was one of those seasons where everything went right, and I don't know. I think the numbers are going to regress a little bit. My opinion, I just think the numbers aren't going to be quite as good next year. He's obviously still a first-round guy, but just not right there. I'm going to go with, I like taking consistency in the first round.
Smart.
And I'm going to take, even though he's older than the other guys, I'm taking Antonio Brown.
Hell yeah.
That's a great pick.
You know?
I don't think you ever go around Antonio Brown.
Well, no.
You could argue. I
In
wouldn't take
PPR,
him
no.
1, but you could argue him up there.
Yeah, I mean, you could take, obviously, the other 2 big wide receivers are younger, but this guy's too consistent. Even last year, like, you didn't really hear too much about him having, the season he had before. Well, the year before, I think he had 1,600 yards or something. He had something
He had
ridiculous.
crazy yards last year, too, I think.
Yeah. And just.
But he still was the number one. He's averaged 19 points a game in fantasy. He didn't even play the last week of the season, or he didn't catch a ball. I forget. But he didn't put up. I remember he didn't even put up numbers in the last week of the season. But he still was right there at the top of the list. So I mean,
Yeah, he missed a game.
until I
He had a couple of stopgaps last year.
until I see anything different, the guy is just too consistent. He catches at least. I think he had didn't he have a streak of something ridiculous, 5 catches in the game for it was 30.
It was
straight
unbelievable.
games or
Well,
something.
unbelievable.
put it this way. The past 4 years straight, he's had over 106 catches or more. In the last 4 years. That's ridiculous. 110, 129, 136, 106. That's ridiculous.
But he catches a ton of
Ridiculous.
touchdowns too.
Oh, yeah. And his yardage is crazy. Last year, he only had 1284, which was the lowest in the last,
And it's still
by far the lowest in
Still
the last
a
4
great
years.
season.
Still a great season, and 12 touchdowns.
I agree with you. I can't
So,
argue
all right.
anything
Can't
about
argue
Antonio
with that.
Brown.
So where are you gonna go?
But
Phil?
going for that, I'm taking Zeke 4. I don't think there's going to be that much regression. The only thing I'd be worried about is a possible suspension, but you don't know. I would, wait to see what that. They
Yeah,
could
even with
change.
1 or 2
But
games.
their offensive line didn't change. Their
Right.
offensive line is still
Top
the
5.
best in the league. Elliott catches. I think he's going to catch more passes. He catches past that backfield. Prescott's going to be 1 year better. I think Elliott, and he's a workhorse, bell cow, whatever you want to call
absolutely.
it. I think he's your number 4. I think I would take him number 4. later on,
Would you
here's
take
where
him
I think-
3? If you had the third pick, would you take
I
him
would
3?
take him 3. Yeah,
Okay.
but I can't argue with Brown. After that, I would stay away from running backs. But that would be our strategy. We could talk about
The Holy
strategy
Trinity,
more when we
yeah.
get later. So I'm going to swing it back there, Chris. You're going to have 5.
I'm going to have 5. So this is where, well,
We know
there's
who's going
2
to take,
left.
right? We know who's going to take,
Yeah,
right?
this is obvious.
Yeah, this is obvious. I mean, but not for everybody. It's weird that it fell on me, but honestly, you could
should've took him just
you could easily go Odell over Julio because Julio has injury problems, and Odell has off-field issue problems.
Is he
so
a mental midget? Tommy?
He's also a mental midget. Yeah, Odell.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Julio's mentally strong.
giant. A
Physically
mental
strong.
giant.
A mental giant. Yeah, no, but I'm gonna go Julio. I don't
can't go
care.
with that.
Yeah,
I agree with
he
you.
had
Can't go-
bunion surgery. Like, you kidding me? I don't care.
But he has had foot problems. He had the Jones
Yes.
fracture.
A lot of leg issues. Yeah.
Feet can be a problem for
Especially for a
football
receiver.
players,
Yeah.
and they're on
You got to be
turf. they're on-
explosive.
It could be scary.
But
It could
that's
linger.
still at 5, Jones. You can't go wrong.
You
With.
can't
Obviously,
go,
these
yeah.
first picks are pretty standard. So we're going to go Donnie.
It's a tough one because I was not going to go with the standard. I'm not a huge Odell Beckham Jr. fan. Obviously, I know the talent's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd have to go with him though. It's one of those things you're at the draft
Yeah, at
and,
this
you don't
point-
want the 8th pick because it's a guy that you don't even
Oh,
want.
8 is me. So in this mock.
No, I just mean
Yeah,
in general.
no, I
In
know.
general,
Here.
yeah.
I
You're
had
going,
five-
six-
I
you're
had
going
6 this
Odell.
year.
Mike,
You
we're
got
going to kick it to you then.
So then it's on me again.
This is where it
Mike's
falls
at
off
7.
a little.
Here's
So,
where
yeah,
it changes.
This is the fall-off point.
I mean,
Here's where we start thinking.
top 6, really, you're not going to see anything different
right.
in terms of those first 6 picked. Then, I'm between 2 guys here, and it's A.J. Green and Mike Evans. I'm going to go with Mike Evans just because he's a little bit younger.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you can go wrong with either one. I'm looking for a consistent guy there, a wide receiver. Mike Evans took like a big step forward last year. And, just watching him, he just looks like they're always looking for him on the field.
Yeah, he knows he's got a
does.
good young
Yeah.
quarterback throwing to himself.
He's always looking for him on the field,
Mhm.
and he's had some huge games. 11 catches for 150 yards. A ton of 100-yard games last year. Gets into the end zone pretty consistently. Was the number 3 wide receiver last year, and he's young, so I would go Evans there.
I think if I'm drafting, I'm happy you took Evans because I'm going to take Green then. And I think you're right. Evans took a huge step forward, but I think the Bucks did a good job of making their team better in real life, which is going to hurt Evans
You think so?
fantasy-wise.
I don't know
Deshaun
about
Jackson, Howard are going to take a little bit from him. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
They're going to take a little. I'm not saying he's going to fall out of the first round or anything like that.
No way, yeah.
I just think they're going to take a little bit from him, which slots A.J. Green ahead of him. And that's why I'm taking A.J. Green
So
now.
let me ask you this. So if you had the 7th pick, would you take A.J. Green over
That's
Mike
what I'm
Evans?
saying. Yeah, exactly.
What about running backs? Nobody wants a thought about running backs.
Well,
at
you're
that
number
spot.
9, so
Well, that's what I'm saying.
yeah, here we go.
Okay, so if you guys took Mike Evans and A.J. Green,
That's what we took.
that leaves the door open for me to take. I think the number 4 running back is Devonta Freeman. Now, would I take Devonta Freeman or another receiver? The only other receiver I would think about here is either Jordy Nelson or Michael Thomas.
Like Jordan Nelson.
I like Jordy Nelson, but
Old now, getting older.
he's getting older, but he's going to put up probably, consistent. He's so safe. He's going to put up consistent numbers and touchdowns. But, I want that running back there. If those receivers are gone, those big receivers like that, I could get a receiver similar to Jordy in the second
So
round.
would you have took Freeman over Evans
I
and
take
Green?
Freeman over. No, I take Freeman over Jordy and all them. Would I take him over Green? Yes. Would I take him over Mike Evans? No. I
So
would
you
take
got
Mike
Evans over
Evans
Green, too.
and then
Okay.
Freeman.
All right. Donnie,
All right,
10.
Donnie.
Again, just on a consistency basis, a good line, a team that's getting better slowly. I'd take McCoy. He is getting older, but he's giving you good years. So
Things a little. We talked about. I think he's a little
Yeah,
bit
we
on the
talked about-
older side.
No,
I think
there's-
get a
there's a
couple of
deep
guys.
Got some
Line,
tread on those
yeah,
tires.
yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
So
Michael, go to 11.
So again, I'm not building a team here. We're just talking about
no,
the
who do we
first
take?
12.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly,
who do we take?
exactly.
That's it.
All right, I'm going to throw a curveball here.
Oh wow, you could throw a curveball here. It's a
All
good
right,
spot.
because the running backs after McCoy is the other guy I would have wanted there.
this is pick
And
11 now, right?
It's pick 11. And right in this spot, there's some running backs you can go with. I mean, you can go Ajay, you can go Gurley. Some people still think, because the talent is there. You can go Murray. You can go
Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
Gordon. I'm going to go with a guy who I'm going to just pretend like last season didn't even happen. DeAndre Hopkins.
Wow.
I'm going to pretend
really
like
curveball.
last year did not happen. We
Right.
got a new guy.
Tom Savage.
We got a new guy, Tom Savage, right? He's got to be better.
He plays like a savage.
I just think. I mean, listen, you're talking about a guy who's going in the first round of every single draft last year.
Like number 4.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the reason he didn't
Very
have a big
high.
year to me is that he just had the worst quarterback in the league.
I agree.
By
that is
far.
what happened.
So I'm just going to completely chalk
It's
that up.
weird.
And I'm going to give him one more chance because the year before he was fantastic.
And he had no quarterbacks that year either.
That's what's weird
That's
about
the
it.
funny thing.
People
People forget.
I agree with one more
Yeah.
chance, but it was so weird that he dropped off because of the QB play because he never
And
had a
it's-
good quarterback.
And the funny thing
But it was
about
a different quarterback.
I know.
No, but
he
it was a
always
different
bounced around
quarterback. But you know what's funny? Brock Osweiler was there the whole entire year for Houston last year. The year before that, there was 3 different quarterbacks.
That's what I mean. He
And they
always
all
had a
hit
good
him up.
McCown and this guy
He
and
was
that guy.
always good.
Who was on that team that year? I don't know. All different.
He was always lighting it up. So that
He
was the
actually went
weird.
off
Well,
that
that
year.
means that the playbook
That
automatically
was
changed.
amazing.
Though.
Exactly. That was the weird thing. So I agree with taking a chance on him. I don't know. I wouldn't have taken him.
You think Hopkins over Jordy and Michael Thomas, huh?
I'm taking a shot with him.
I'm taking Jordy here at 12.
Yep.
It's
a great pick.
I like late in the first round. I prefer wide receivers over running back. I think running back gets a little too fickle at this position. You got Ajayi. We said he had 3 good games, and that built on his year. For me, that's just tough to put stake in for that first round pick.
Well, how many running backs went according to our draft just now? He took McCoy. I took Freeman.
5.
So 5. So the 6th one on the board, I guess. You know, you got Gordon, you got Ajayi, you got
I
Howard.
put Gordon. I put Gordon. That would be
Gordon.
my next running
Okay.
back. But
DeMarco Murray.
Well,
That
you
might-
get the back-to-back.
yeah,
So
that might be the
swing pick.
Well, that might be the 13th pick of the draft.
Right.
So let's tune in.
We'll see.
Let's
Yeah.
tune in next week, guys, for round 2 of the Bridgeside Sports Fantasy Football Mock Draft.
Yeah.
That being said, why don't we go to the other fantasy sport that's currently right now? We got fantasy baseball. We did as always, every Monday, we do our FanDuel daily fantasy sports league, Bridgeside. We're going to check. Chris is going to pull it up right now. And Donnie, we're going to get our stats live for you guys. And we usually try to give just a quick insight of how we usually do with this. So why don't I start with Chris?
Well,
Pick a player that you had a little insight about.
Currently in first place.
Yeah.
So we definitely got to start with Chris.
yeah. So I picked. Honestly, today I didn't get a chance to look at my roto grinders. You know, I
say
usually
that.
do that
Don't
thing.
say that.
What?
Don't say that. He looked at everything, guys.
No,
Come
I
on.
didn't. I swear to God.
Everything he says is top notch.
I didn't get a chance to look at the roto grinders, batter versus pitcher, whatever analysis. So I just made a team off the whim, and it was Garrett Cole because I really like Garrett Cole, especially at San Francisco.
Yeah. Well, don't give us the whole team. We'll try to focus on one guy.
one guy that I really like. That why I picked him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Chris Taylor. He was my most I think or maybe Jake Lamb was my most guy. Chris Taylor was a pick I really like. I actually just picked him up in season long, and he's just been raking lately. This guy, he's on fire, and one of the main cogs in that Dodgers offense. Yeah. I think he's batting leadoff today. He's got power. He's got speed. He's got the good combo, and he was my expensive guy in the outfield that I took. I think that's a guy a lot of people won't take either. His ownage percentage won't be as high as more expensive guys. So.
Donnie?
Yeah, my most expensive guy is also my best player. It's Jacob deGrom. He's pitching at 10 o'clock.
You went that's the most
Padres.
expensive pitcher.
Yeah, 11,000, well above the next pitcher on the board.
So you went with that strategy.
Yeah,
Build
he's been
from
pitching
pitcher,
great
then fill
lately.
in. Okay.
High strikeout anyway, and he's pitching against the Padres.
Okay.
It was just a marked improvement on the next pitcher. But then it kind of makes the rest of the roster struggle.
It's difficult.
A bit,
It's difficult, but that's the route you want. I don't blame you because DeGrom has been pitching great, and that ballpark, that team could be a perfect strategy.
Yep.
Mike?
So I took DeGrom as well. I thought that matchup was great. But one guy I want to talk about just in fantasy circles, not even just daily, Starling Marte. He's
back. Yeah.
He's been back for a week, and just the early results are really good. He had 2 hits, 4 runs scored, 3 hits, and then 2 hits. Those are the last 3 games. So he's been.
You put him in there?
He's been hitting the ball really well. Yeah, he hasn't hit a homer yet since he got back, but people were a little bit worried coming back from suspension. I think he's playing a new position because McCutchen, I think
he's back to right. No,
they moved him either left or right.
I think left.
When he got the suspension, he was playing center, but then McCutchen, they said they were going to keep McCutchen in center. So he's come back, and he's looked really good. So he was one guy I wanted to make sure I got on my team.
Yeah, I have him too.
And for me, I
Took him too.
I don't know what the standings are, but
Didn't
for me,
start
for the
him.
daily fantasy, I took Brad Peacock at the pitches. I actually like him.
He's been doing really good. Yeah.
He's been doing really good. I think he was about the 4th or 5th expensive pitcher. So I felt like even though he's 4th or 5th expensive, when you got a guy like DeGrom pitching that expensive, I thought you got a good bargain with Peacock, and you're still able to build a stronger team, save about $2,500 to $3,000 and spread it around. He's facing Philly. a good matchup. He's got a lot of strikeouts, been pitching really good. I think in fantasy circles they know he's doing good. I think he was a good one to have. That's where I built my team from. I thought Peacock was a good way because he could give you the quality of the DeGrom with a little bit less of the price.
So wait, basically, you build a strategy where you build from the quarterback down?
The pitcher.
The pitcher.
Who is like the
pitcher
quarterback.
down.
No, it's like the quarterback.
See, I do it
Yeah.
the opposite. I start from the outfield up.
I usually go with my pitcher first. Then I can obviously change as we go, but I usually pick that pitcher first.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
then I fill in after. I try to always get some expensive outfielder, get a little cheap power as I talked about the week before.
Right.
But this week Peacock stood out to me. I was
Peacock
like,
stood out?
this guy could give you the return of DeGrom without the investment.
Yeah, you already have 4 strikeouts through 3 innings.
Unfortunately, the game's delayed.
Oh, that might not
And that
matter.
could affect your team.
Oh, no.
Might
And that's
screw
that.
everything
I was
up.
actually intrigued with your team, so I was taking a look.
See,
I'm like,
all right,
he saved
wasn't
enough
bad.
money to go out and get
There we
Machado.
go. See?
He's got 16
Exactly.
points already.
Machado's playing really well.
Yeah.
You got him a little bit less of a discount.
Right.
So
It doesn't
you get
matter.
these
'cause I
guys
can
on
throw your
discount.
game in
It
the
doesn't
garbage
matter if
that game
Peacock
ends.
just gets thrown out. So I had good strategy, and then
Quick, before we move on, I also picked Carl Santana. He had 2 homers tonight.
nice.
So that's actually the reason why I'm ahead.
Chris is number
I'll
one.
do it.
Chris is number one. He might have the crown. Reiterate the
43
crown.
points, man.
Well, I won the last 2 weeks.
So
Let's
Chris
see if
is
I
just,
keep it 3 weeks
Chris
in a row.
is just dominating
throw
us,
that
guys.
in
Let's
there.
just.
Real
Well, I mean, come on.
Well, I guess the host ain't doing it, right? He's not giving you any credit.
I can't give him the credit. No, I'm kidding. We got to take him down. But all right, guys. Well, that's our little advice on fantasy baseball, and we gave you the fantasy football advice too. We're going to really gear up at fantasy. It's a big season for fantasy baseball's gearing up for the playoffs as well as football. Fantasy football is getting ready to start going, which is great. But we're going to go to regular basketball. We already have a comment about the question of the night, so I'm going to get the question of the night out there first. I'll reiterate that it's Kyrie Irving, NBA. NBA takes over now. It's just because the offseason is better than the regular season. There's more twists and turns in the offseason than there is in the actual regular season. The biggest twist of the entire offseason, I think, came out a couple days ago. Kyrie Irving is demanding a trade from the Cavaliers. So we got one fellow listener, fellow Bridgeside member from Cooking in Brooklyn, Danny Milano, says because he's sick and tired of playing with that crybaby.
Wow.
And he's alluding to, obviously,
LeBron
Richard
James.
Jefferson. I mean, I'm sorry. No, he's alluding to LeBron James. And this is how, I guess that could be the biggest thing. I don't know what you guys think about it. I'm going to throw it to Donnie because I think for the things that we talked about, I think Donnie's a little bit against us. I want to kick it to Donnie. Why do you think Kyrie Irving wants to trade
well,
from the Cavs?
I think in general, it's a problem of this era of basketball.
I agree with that 100%.
It's weird for Kyrie Irving, who was the focal point there. He's a very good player. Puts
On a
up
bad
points.
team. Terrible team.
No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But he's playing with a player that has more influence in the organization than the president, the GM, the coach, because I'm pretty sure that he handpicked those people for the team. LeBron James holds the cards, and then there's a very good chance. Very good. Well, he might have more information on that than us. There's a chance that he leaves next year and leaves the team, like you said, destitute again.
It's true.
Yeah.
But LeBron, LeBron is the most influential. But he has Kyrie Irving under his wing, so to speak, is that he's not doing anything bad for Kyrie. And Kyrie's going to outlast him. Kyrie's going to outlast him in Cleveland. So what's the difference of going to a team now or if LeBron leaves next year? What's the difference between...
Well, you're talking about from my perspective or his. From his perspective, he could find a team that's
the
building
Knicks.
now.
He said the Knicks are on his list. Okay?
That was an interesting one.
The Knicks, so you're telling me the Knicks are a better
He doesn't look like the smartest
prospect?
person. I mean,
Another mental midget?
Yeah.
I said that last week. Well, they're not that smart. But what are you going to do?
But so he wants to get away from. Oh, you're talking about. But he's also one of the. I'm sorry. He is the greatest basketball player of our generation. Here's my argument for. All he talks about. He wants to be the man. He wants to be the man. Mm-hmm. Kyrie Irving would never have had the opportunity to shine the way he did if it was not for LeBron James. He made those shots last year in the finals. He had the game-winning shot in Game 7 of the finals.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He wouldn't have made. So his star has risen for being with LeBron James. Now he wants to go away from LeBron James.
Yeah, I don't
He's
get it.
just going to be, as number 2 with LeBron, he's Kyrie Irving, one of the best players in the league. If he goes to be number 1 on another team, he's just going to be Kyrie Irving. Good to great basketball player. doesn't really get done. Not on the stage of the finals.
I think to speak to Donnie's point a little bit, it has. I think there's more to it than that. I think there has to be something that we don't know about the relationship between LeBron and Irving. Irving probably feels a little bit slighted because he was there first, and it seems like he doesn't have much power in the organization. Everybody just waits for what LeBron is going to do and say, and every decision rides on him. So I think there's probably some animosity there. There's some bad feelings there. And, he wants to get out, and he wants to make sure that he's in a proper landing place before, basically, he doesn't want to have to just wait for LeBron to decide everything around him.
On,
I think
I agree. I agree with the fact that LeBron has way too much power in the organization. But you're telling me he doesn't have any inkling of what LeBron's going to do?
But let's also be honest, theoretically, if we want to say what happens if LeBron's not there, because we were talking about how bad they were. Right now we have Irving.
Venture's just shaking his head.
We have Irving, we have Wiggins, and cap room, which could have been better than, again, it's not a LeBron team, but it's not bad either.
They could have had LeBron, Irving, and Wiggins with cap room. Wiggins was traded for Love.
Yeah, that's a LeBron issue.
Well, yeah. Well, you shouldn't have given LeBron that much power. They would love to have Wiggins right now. I'll tell you that. They would love to have Wiggins.
Of course, yeah.
So they won a title. Don't get me wrong. So you don't want to really take it back. But Wiggins would be their guy. Venture, you're shaking your head. What's going on?
No, I mean, like everybody's saying, oh, well, LeBron shouldn't have this much power, and you're understanding why Kyrie wants to leave. I mean, these guys are babies, dude. Come on.
Well, yeah, but I'm with you.
You went to the championship game.
I'm with you.
But listen,
what does he not like about LeBron?
Okay. He's a great teammate. They say he's a great teammate. What the
Well, listen, he's not the first guy to want to. He sees this is basketball in general now, right? He sees all these other guys. Paul George says basically, "I want to be traded," and it forces their hand.
So ridiculous.
Players have if.
But what's the one glaring difference with Paul George wanting to be traded and Kyrie Irving wanting to be traded?
What is?
We know it's the team they're currently on.
Exactly. I'm sorry. That can't be understated.
Okay.
The Pacers barely make
and that's
the playoffs.
Why Kyrie...
The Cavs have made the finals 3 straight years.
Okay,
have you ever heard of a guy demanding a trade out of that successful of a team?
No.
Yeah, when he doesn't like
if he doesn't like where he's at.
Why doesn't he like his
that would be the
teammates?
situation.
If he doesn't like where he's at, he doesn't like where he's at, man. I mean, he thinks that he thinks obviously he's one of the best players in the NBA. He thinks that he can go to another team and win a championship, and he'd rather win a championship with those guys.
He's overestimating his own talent.
I completely agree with you. I think he's great.
Me?
I think he's great.
He needs other players. He's not going there with a garbage
But he
team.
could clearly find a team with other players.
Okay, no,
it's not going to be the player.
But
LeBron
this is
James,
the best
all
team he
players.
has a chance to win with.
The last guy who
Kevin
did this.
Love's amazing.
Wait, hold on.
Forget Kevin Love.
Time out.
Kick him out of the league.
Kick him out of the league. The last guy I could think of, Kobe Bryant, wanted to be on his own when he was with a great team. So you're telling me, and Kobe Bryant still couldn't win the title on his own. He needed Pau Gasol to come over. So you're telling me Kyrie Irving, in this day and age with the Warriors, with just the greatest team of all time, Kyrie Irving's going to be able to leave the Cavs, find a landing spot, and be able to contend for a title?
No, but that.
Okay, so...
But what you're saying right now is that he's not going to win a title either there.
Why?
He has a better chance.
It's
a slightly better chance.
Yeah.
Unless he bridges another team.
Although Boston reached out to Cleveland.
Hold on. You have to think about
if
this.
If that happened, they are a better team than the Cavs.
Let him go.
You have to think about this as well. It's been known in this crazy offseason that the Cavs didn't do anything to get better. They did not.
They've been handcuffed, but yes, they have not done anything to get better.
Nonetheless, Phil.
Yes, you're right. I said
how much off-season time is there left?
No, it doesn't matter. The big splash is gone. You're 100% right.
And I don't know if it's any coincidence, but a couple weeks ago, LeBron came out and he was. I think they said that he was kind of disappointed that they didn't do anything to get better,
which is his fault because of all the money they've tied up in all his boys.
Wait, so I thought LeBron James has all this say, and now he doesn't even know why they don't have other players right now. I don't understand.
Hold on, Mike's disgusted. I think it's with us.
I mean, you're making it sound like that this Cavs team is going to win a championship when they're just not going to. So he wants to go somewhere. Honestly, you keep saying that he has his best chance to win with LeBron. I don't think on this Cavs team he has the best chance. Now, I don't know why he requested the Knicks as one of the teams. I'm happy.
Name a team that he'd be better with.
Well, he said he wanted to go to the Spurs, but that's not going to happen because they don't have.
Is that going to make? Are they going to be better than the Cavs?
Yes,
Kyrie
would be on par with the Cavs. Yes.
No, Kyrie on the Spurs versus Kyrie on the Cavs. Which team's better?
Kyrie on the Spurs.
No, I disagree
Who do they
completely.
give up? Who are the Spurs giving up?
Well, that's why
it's got to be a reasonable trade. He said the Spurs. I'm not sure if it's a reasonable trade that they could get back from. He said the Heat. Is he going to be better on the Heat?
Yeah, he ain't going anywhere with the Heat.
He's going to be better off on the Heat? Okay.
So.
He said the Knicks. We obviously know that's not the answer. He said the Timberwolves, which was the most intriguing. But
That's the most
who are they
intriguing.
going to give up? You got to remember, they're not getting Kyrie Irving for free.
Yeah.
They're
But-
giving up players.
Phil, here's the bottom line. He's ready to start a new chapter in his career. This chapter with the Cavs, he feels like
Is done.
Is done with. And
But I don't
obviously, the players on the team are not too happy with the offseason and with the way the season ended. So I'm with Donnie on this one. I understand for some reasons why he wants to get out. I don't necessarily think he's going to be in a better position on another team, but I think he just wants to start new.
But why even say it publicly? Why even do all this stuff?
Well, Phil, why don't you talk about that?
That was the biggest thing. They said
why
that
say that?
Kyrie believes, there's sources out there, Kyrie believes that LeBron was the one who leaked this information out there, which is just an insane twist in the whole
That's
saga.
He also believes in the flat Earth theory.
Yeah.
The flat Earth
Yeah, I'm not
theory.
sure I want a guy on my team
That's
that
true.
believes
But
Earth
maybe
is flat.
LeBron, the theory would be LeBron did it so he could get backlash from it and not get traded. But look, I don't
thought they were
understand because
friends. I thought they were boys,
I also thought
Kyrie
winning
and-
was the top thing.
They're not as close as Tanaka and Darvish.
Yeah.
But
I don't think anyone
Understandable.
I don't think anyone in
I'm
the
gonna
history
find.
of
Yeah,
friends.
I gotta look into this. I actually Googled before Tanaka and Darvish relationship. I didn't get anything too
Google
good.
image of a handshake.
I didn't get anything too good.
I just think it's just ridiculous with these NBA guys, man. I mean, like, come on. Your best chance is with this team. You're going to start a whole big thing just to go to somewhere else where you don't know if for a fact that team's going to be better with you on it. You don't know that for sure. You have LeBron on your team. How much more do you want? I don't care if you don't have power on the team. Of course LeBron should have more power than you. You're Kyrie,
Yeah, but
and he's LeBron.
He shouldn't have more power
Should have
than the
more power.
president of the organization.
Well, he shouldn't. But then that brings me to, how does LeBron say, oh, we didn't do enough in the offseason, why don't we get any pieces? If he has so much power, he should be involved in everything that's going on with the organization. I want this player, I want that player, let's make our team better. How come that's not
He
happening?
knows what's going on with the organization. He's
so
not hearing in the press.
he's just lying.
What comments are he
fabricating.
making?
I don't know. Phil said something about how we said we didn't really do anything
was
this
Mike.
offseason.
No, but then-
oh, Mike said it.
But
okay.
then sources were for 3 weeks that he was not actively recruiting for them.
So,
So, which means he was not trying to get anything done for
basically
them.
what we're noticing is there's just a lot of, he said, she said, there's not too many facts on the story, and you could even see that when you're just watching, the news and you're reading articles. There's not really any concrete details to this yet. I think they will eventually come out a little bit, but he's not happy there, and I don't think. If LeBron can call his shots and jump ship and go to the Heat when he's not happy, why can't Kyrie, the person who is at the Cavs?
Well,
first?
that's my thing. Why is he not happy?
Well,
I just don't understand why he's not happy.
Why are some people not happy? You don't know.
Well, I'll tell you why
Sounds like a
I'm not
false-
happy. I'm not happy because I need to make a lot of money and do things in my life and get jobs. Well, he's making millions of dollars. He shouldn't be He shouldn't be
But
unhappy.
he's a
at
much
this
better
point.
basketball player than you.
I know, but I'm just saying, there's reasons for me to be
rebound.
unhappy. There's plenty. For him, I don't see very many. You just went to the
come on, you
championship. You're
can't put your-
20-something years old.
It's a philosophical debate we got going
He's
on.
not
Why
happy
are
that-
people happy?
He's not
We shouldn't be having that
Why
here.
are people happy? Why aren't people happy? But I think that's going to be. I do agree with what Mike said. Unfortunately, that's just the day and age. That's just the day and age of the NBA. It's just you bought it LeBron. He kind of
A
started
spoiled NBA, I
He
call
started
it.
whether or
Spoiled.
not you just bounce around and that's it. But I think
Very
we're gonna have
spoiled.
Donnie's got something going on, but we're gonna end there.
2 years, 3 years from now, this NBA is going to fold, probably. That's how ridiculous of a zoo it's becoming.
NBA. I'm sorry, the NBA is gonna fold.
Oh, you know what's going to take
We're
over?
gonna leave it at that.
The
We're
big three is going to be the
The big three is going to be the new NBA.
We're gonna leave it at that.
I don't think they could see that.
No, they can't. They can't. Thanks a lot, guys. That's going to be our show for tonight. As always, remember to tune in tomorrow, Bridgeside Live. We got Dana Athens and Ryan Liatzis in the house to perform. They've been here before. We got the Liatzis clan coming in. They're going to have, as always, they're going to have a great show. And 9 o'clock, Bridgeside Live, right here for them, as always. And next week, we'll be here, Bridgeside Sports Live, Monday, 9 p.m. We'll have a continuation of the fantasy football draft, fantasy baseball, and other hot topics in sports. For everyone here, good night, everybody, and thanks for tuning in.
Later.